What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
Shalom. First of all, start by saying all praise goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, Great Millstone. Salutations to Ahmad pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. The all full elect, Shalom. My name is Kara Allah. Lord Williams Lessons Edifying. I'm basically going into this storm that happened in Florida and the destruction left behind, but delivering the brothers out there, the prophets, Lowell, men of the Lord, and also there's other calamities across the world where the Lord's men are constantly being delivered, and it's a major boost, faith booster for the upcoming times at hand. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. First, I want to say Proverbs 1:21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. In the opening of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words, saying, and before I continue, the she that crieth in the chief place of concourse, that she is going into the scriptures, but it's not your understanding. When you read Proverbs, you find out wisdom is compared to as a woman. Okay, in the chief place of concourse, and how's wisdom crying out by the prophets, all right, by the men of the Lord are doing the howards and byways in the chief place of concourse, being places of business, the entering of gates, all right, where there's a lot of traffic at. In the opening of the gates, in the city, she uttered her words, saying, how long ye simple ones will ye love simplicity, and the scorns delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. And when the men of the Lord got in the houses and byways, starting our apostles and our elders, okay, they go out there, and that's exactly what, they say. That's what they utter. Because our people are simple. Our people being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the 2/3 don't want to get this truth. They don't want to understand their nationality. They don't want to understand the name of the Lord. Okay, but they want to abide by the laws of the so-called white man and the wicked. How long you simple ones will you love simplicity, and the scorns delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you and my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, right, through the prophets. It says, because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. Going into the 2/3 of Israel, right? It says, but he have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Stop being a sellout, okay? Stop being wicked. Stop committing adultery. Read the scriptures. Go into the history. And learn your nationality. Learn the truth. It says, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation, right? So when all these things happen, when destruction cometh, you got to understand you brought it upon yourself when you caught up in that destruction. All right? The Lord made a way out for his elect, for the men out there on the highways and byways. But for the people, the men that didn't want to get right with the Lord, okay, the women that didn't want to get right with the Lord, okay, guess what? You're going to be destroyed. But he hath set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. Okay? And another word for whirlwind, tornado, hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, tropical storm, tropical cyclone, vortex, dust devil, water spout, twister. Okay, so that's exactly what happened. A whirlwind came, a physical whirlwind came and smashed into Florida. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They were not of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. All right. It says, I read one more verse. Therefore they eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. So in other words, you get what you've been asking for. If you was doing right, the Lord would deal with you righteously. If you do wickedly, the Lord would have judged you according to your doings. Okay, so then in Florida, you have men of the Lord in Florida that go out there in the highways and byways. Now, they'll be okay, which, of course, brothers send up prayers for those brothers going through that storm, and may they be all right. May the Lord be with them. And so far, we getting news getting back to us. Brothers are doing lessons in Florida, and they're showing that they actually been okay. The Lord delivered them. And that's the spirit, because there's another storm coming. All right, and basically what I'm talking about, when somebody says a storm is coming, it really means that bad times are at hand. All right, that's why I said in Proverbs 1:26, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. So dark times, not an actual whirlwind, which it could be an actual whirlwind like we just saw, but this is more prophetic, and it's more destruction, because the whirlwind that's coming, it's not an actual whirlwind, but this destruction is going to come sudden, like a whirlwind, right? And what's that going into? The prophecies, the end time prophecies, such as the MOT to the busy B, all right? Because this man is busy working on his agenda, okay? I'm talking about the C Ragma, If you don't know what I'm talking about by now, if you don't know, I'm talking about the Charagma, all right? Now you know. The mark in Revelations 13 chapter. That's one thing that's coming upon this place, and that's one of the final prophecies before World War III breaks out, becomes hot. All right. You see the draft is taking place in Russia, and what does that mean for Americans? All right, that means that comfort zone that Americans have become used to, have made them soft. All right, and now war is approaching a lot of these the men, especially even the Jakes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. 2/3 of you won't be able to face what's coming. All right, you're gonna be in a state of distress, a state of anguish. Okay, the Lord said, I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. You're gonna be in a state of fear. When they implement the MOT, when they implement a draft, okay, and when they implement martial law, okay, because now they're talking about putting cameras on the train now, because of all the violence. which a lot of those violent acts, a lot of them, um, they're red flags, you know. But this is all according to E's agenda, okay. But that whirlwind is going into these prophecies, and ultimately that destruction by fire. Okay, that's coming to this place also. That destruction by fire. Isaiah 29:1. Woe to Ariel! Woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt, which Ariel is another word for Jerusalem. Okay. Add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices, right? Because our people would have sacrificial animals, but they were sacrifices to different gods. And even if they sacrificed it to the Lord, Washim Yahushai, they weren't keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. They weren't doing the will of the Heavenly Father. So the sacrifices will mean nothing. It says, yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel. And I will camp against thee round about, right? The sorrows, because Ariel was going off. Jerusalem was going off, following different idols, following different gods. And I will camp against thee round about, and will lay siege against thee with the mount, and I will raise forts against thee. Right? And that's how Israel was carried into captivity. All right? Judah and Jerusalem by the Assyrians, and all these different nations. And even today, we're in captivity on the Esau Edom. And thou shalt be brought down and shall speak out of the ground, and thy speech shall be low out of the dust, and thy voice shall be of one that has familiar spirits out of the ground, and thy speech shall whisper out of the dust. So in other words, the Lord is not going to listen to us. All right. And it says we should be out of the dust. We should be brought low out of the dust, in confusion and slavery, which we're supposed to be kings and priests, all right, prophets, men serving the Lord. But here it is, we'll be slaves and servants, all right, and the Lord will not be dealing with us. Verse 5, moreover, the multitude of thy strangers, moreover, meaning later on, the multitude of thy strangers, thy enemies, thy adversaries, shall be like small dust, and the multitude of the terrible ones shall be as chaff that passeth away. The terrible ones are our enemies, man. And that the terrible one mainly is Esau Edom, because he's the worst of our enemies. It shall be at an instant suddenly. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. And this is how the Lord would deal with nation of Israel, with floods and storms and tempests. Okay, so when you see things like these storms happening, that's how the Lord visit all these different nations and even Israel when they're going off. It says, thou shalt be visited with the Lord of hosts, Lord of armies, with thunder and with earthquakes. You hear earthquakes stick of Haiti, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And that's going into those thermonuclear missiles. That's how this place is going to be destroyed, and this kingdom is going to be destroyed. And the multitude of all nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her and her munition, her fortress, okay, munitions going to the fortress, and that distress her shall be as a dream of the night vision. So the Lord ultimately is going to wipe away all our enemies, okay? We will no longer have enemies. We even forget about them. Isaiah 29:6, the point, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise. And that's what you've seen that occurred in Florida. But the prophets, the men out there on the highways and byways was delivered out of that. With storm, tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And what's coming up next is that devouring fire in the near future. which is the final one of the final prophecies before deliverance, is this place being destroyed totally by fire. Isaiah 3 and 9, Slakia, verse Isaiah 3, 10 and 11. See ye the righteous, that it shall be well with. Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. And what's the fruit of the righteous doings? Obeying the Lord's statutes and commandments, fearing Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, keeping the laws to the best of your ability. It says, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, ill, bad times, destruction, woe, lamentations to the wicked. Right, 2/3 of our people that won't follow the Lord, but rather follow heathen nations and idols. It says, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. And what's reward? Destruction, death, mourning, lamentations, fear, okay, being brought low. 2 Ezra 16 and 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea arise up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also. And what's going to cause the earth to quake and the waves to arouse and the fishes to be troubled? Those thermonuclear missiles and their impact when America is being destroyed and this kingdom is being destroyed. All the waters will be evaporated. It's going to cause earthquakes and cause tsunamis. The sea life is going to be out of place. Like in the video you just saw, the crocodile and the shark swimming through Florida. That's how it's going to be from the aftermath of those nuclear missiles destroying America and taking Esau Edom up out of power. It says before the Lord and before the glory of his power, because the Lord's gonna come in his glory by way of those chariots, which people call so-called UFOs, and also by way of those nuclear missiles, because the Lord's gonna put his spirit in those missiles. And not to get it confused, Florida is gonna be destroyed. It's gonna be a desert land. The whole America is gonna be a desert land. Okay. Now, the places hit with the aftermath is going into maybe places overseas. For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. Who bendeth the bow? Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because all these words, all these prophecies are from the words of the Heavenly Father. Okay, they can't be turned around. They can't be stopped. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, traveling from continent to continent and destroying. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. And there you go. And there are a lot of plagues being sent upon the earth, but this plague is going into those thermonuclear missiles. All right, and the Lord delivered, the Lord delivered the elect of Israel out of the storm. Okay, you saw the storm in Florida. Okay, you have Israelites. Without, you have not Israelites, because Israel's all over, but you have the elect of Israel might not have water in their houses. Different parts of America don't have any drinkable water. And guess what? If the elect is there, if the Lord's men is there, they're gonna be delivered. Okay, and all this is to build up the faith of those of the elect, which men, women, children. Build up the faith, so when things come down to the wire, when those nukes are shot off, All right, the faith of those men, which lo and part of their number, will be even more increased. And I want to say, all praise goes to Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shah, Bashim Hakwadash, double honors to the apostles, Elsewhere Millstone, and salutations to Akmate pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. Shalom.